You'll never amount to anything. You're too stupid for college. Just accept that you're not cut out for this. Those were the exact words my high school guidance counselor said to me when I told her I wanted to study physics. She literally laughed in my face. Well, guess what? Last month, that same woman attended my university lecture as part of a teacher development program. She sat in the front row taking notes, while I, the kid she said was too stupid for college, taught a room full of educators about quantum mechanics. But this isn't just a feel-good revenge story. This is about the systematic method I used to transform from academic failure to university professor, and how you can use the same principles to prove wrong. Everyone who ever doubted you, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen, and today, I'm sharing the exact strategy that took me from being labeled useless to earning my PhD and landing my dream job. Stick around, because what I'm about to tell you will change how you handle rejection forever. Let me paint you a picture of who I was in high school. I was the girl who sat in the back corner, desperately trying to understand algebra while everyone else seemed to get it instantly. I failed chemistry twice. My math teacher actually suggested I consider more practical career paths, like retail or food service. And you know what the worst part was? I started believing them. When everyone around you, teachers, counselors, even some family members, keeps telling you that you're not smart enough, you begin to internalize that message. I genuinely thought I was just born with a defective brain. The breaking point came during my senior year. I had mustered up the courage to ask about college applications, specifically for science programs. That's when Mrs. Henderson, my guidance counselor, delivered that devastating blow about being too stupid for college. I walked out of her office that day feeling completely worthless. I spent the next 3 months working at a fast food restaurant, convinced that this was my ceiling. This was as good as life would get for someone like me. But then something happened that changed everything. My younger sister, who was actually a straight A student, came home crying one day. She'd bombed a physics test despite studying for hours. As I helped her work through the problems, something clicked. I could actually understand this stuff. More than that, I could explain it in a way that made sense to her. That night, I made a decision that would alter the trajectory of my entire life. If they thought I was useless, I was going to prove them so spectacularly wrong that they'd have no choice but to acknowledge their mistake. Now, here's where most people get revenge wrong. They either give up completely, or they get motivated for a few weeks before burning out. I knew that if I was going to prove them wrong, I needed a bulletproof system. I called it my systematic proof strategy, and it had 4 non-negotiable components. Component 1, evidence collection. I started keeping a detailed record of every small win, every concept I mastered, every problem I solved. Most people focus on their failures, but I was building an evidence file of my capabilities. Every time that voice in my head whispered, "You're not smart enough," I had concrete proof to the contrary. Component 2, the stealth learning method. Instead of announcing my intentions to the world and risk more discouragement, I studied in secret. I enrolled in community college night classes while working during the day. No fanfare, no announcements, just quiet, consistent progress. Component 3, finding my learning language. Here's the game-changing realization: I wasn't stupid, I just learned differently. Traditional textbooks didn't work for me, but YouTube videos, hands-on experiments, and teaching concepts to others clicked immediately. I stopped trying to fit into their learning box and built my own. Component 4, the long game mindset. This wasn't about proving them wrong next month or even next year. This was about building something so undeniable that in 5 years, 10 years, they'd have to acknowledge their mistake. I was playing chess while they were playing checkers. The beautiful thing about this approach, it's not just about academics. This system works whether you want to build a business, master a skill, or achieve any goal that people say is impossible for you. Let me be brutally honest. The first year was hell. I was working 40 hours a week at minimum wage jobs and taking classes at night. I'd get home at midnight, study until 3 a.m., then wake up at 7 a.m. to do it all over again. There were moments I wanted to quit. Like when I failed my first calculus exam and heard that familiar voice saying, "See? They were right about you." But remember component 1? I had my evidence file. I could see the progress, even when it felt invisible to everyone else. The breakthrough came in my second year. I was struggling with organic chemistry when I discovered something powerful. I could turn complex molecular structures into stories. Instead of memorizing formulas, I created narratives about how molecules behaved and interacted. Suddenly, chemistry became as engaging as reading a novel. That's when I realized something profound. Intelligence isn't about fitting into someone else's definition of smart. It's about finding your unique way of processing and understanding information. I wasn't defective, I was different. And different, as it turns out, can be incredibly powerful. My grades started improving dramatically. By year 3, I was making the dean's list. By year 4, professors were asking me to tutor other students. The girl who was too stupid for college was now helping college students understand physics. But here's the part that really got to me. Some of those students I was tutoring, they had graduated from my old high school. They knew who I used to be, and now they were coming to me for help. That's when I knew the transformation was real. Fast forward 8 years from that devastating meeting with Mrs. Henderson. I had not only completed my bachelor's degree, but had earned my PhD in theoretical physics from a top-tier university. My dissertation on quantum field theory had been published in 3 peer-reviewed journals. Then came the opportunity. I had been unconsciously preparing for my entire academic career. My university was hosting a professional development seminar for high school educators about making science more accessible to struggling students. They asked me to be the keynote speaker. I'll never forget walking into that auditorium and seeing her sitting in the front row, Mrs. Henderson. The woman who had convinced me I wasn't smart enough for college was now sitting there with a notebook, ready to learn from me. But here's the thing about real revenge. It's not about humiliation or making others feel small. It's about becoming so undeniably successful that their previous assessment becomes obviously wrong. I didn't call her out. I didn't embarrass her. Instead, I delivered the best lecture of my career about how every student has unique intelligence that just needs the right approach to unlock it. I talked about the danger of writing off students based on traditional metrics and the importance of believing in potential, even when it's not immediately visible. After the lecture, she approached me. I could see in her eyes that she recognized me, though it took her a moment to place where she knew me from. When it clicked, her face went pale. "Dr. Chen," she said quietly, I think we might have met before." "Yes," I replied with a smile. "You told me I was too stupid for college. I just wanted to thank you for motivating me to prove you wrong." Now you might be thinking, that's a great story, Sarah, but what does this mean for me? Here's what I learned that you can apply to your own life. First, the people who doubt you are often projecting their own limitations. Mrs. Henderson wasn't cruel. She was working within a system that only recognizes one type of intelligence. Her assessment said more about the limitations of that system than about my capabilities. Second, revenge isn't about making others suffer. It's about making their doubt irrelevant through your success. The best revenge is becoming so successful that their opinion becomes meaningless. Third, every no you receive is data, not destiny. It tells you something about the current situation, not your ultimate potential. Use it as fuel, not as a verdict.